Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. And well, this double bottom that we're getting right now, I've been predicting it for, almost 2 months now. If you look at my channel and if you look at this video, for example, which was posted on February 24th, as you can see, this was always, something that could happen because Ethereum was also not doing too well at the time, and what we did exactly this. We got a double bottom. Now of course we did not get it exactly when I said we will get it. For example, here we actually went up in a fourth wave and then a third wave and then a fourth wave, and then we went down, but it's the exact same thing. And I've been talking about a double bottom scenario for many months now, so this should not really shock you. And honestly, if you have been a member of the channel for longer than 2 days, you should already know what's going on in the market. Of course, I'm going to explain what's going on again in case you are new to this channel, but what's happening right now is actually very normal. And instead of starting with Cardano, I know people don't want to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum because it's a Cardano video, but I need to talk about these points. I actually want to talk about the Ethereum chart first because obviously Ethereum is not doing too well right now. However, I did call for this to happen like weeks ago, and I did tell you that Ethereum needs to get to the oversold territory on the weekly chart if we actually want to get extremely bullish, because in the past, as you can see, Ethereum only got to the oversold territory 2 times in its entire existence, and right now we're about to get it for a 3rd time, and I think this is gonna be extremely bullish. Now keep in mind, to get to the oversold territory, we would also need to close a wick in that, territory, which means that this week could be, very boring, but after this week, or maybe in like 2 weeks or so, we could actually start a big bounce. And I want to show you what happened the previous 2 times after we got to the oversold territory on the weekly chart. So let's start with the first time right here, which was exactly the bear market low of 2018. So keep in mind, the previous 2 times where Ethereum got to the oversold territory, it was a bear market low, and right now we're in the middle of a bull market. So I think this is about to get extremely bullish. Of course, you might not believe me because right now the fear and greed index is at like minus 500 or something. Yeah, it's at 23. Everybody is in extreme fear, and this to me looks like a good buying opportunity. To be honest, of course, I'm not giving you financial advice, but I'm probably going to get some altcoins and even some Ethereum extremely soon. Now, I'm probably not gonna time the market and buy the bottom, and of course the Ethereum chart could go way lower, maybe to like $1,300. Of course, that would put us below the 0.786 support level, but it is what it is. And we could even drop to like $1,000 and the structure will still be fine as long as we stay above this low right here, which is at about $882. So we could drop a bit lower and that will be fine as long as we actually close a wick below the oversold, well, actually at the oversold territory on the weekly. Now let me show you what happened because I keep talking about other things. So here, for example, after we got to the oversold territory on the weekly, if you look at how much we went up, at least in the short term, Ethereum had a big bounce, and as you can see, it went up like 94% in the next 28 days, and the scenario was actually extremely similar. It was below the 200-day moving average, it was below the bull market support band, and as you can see, we had a 94% pump in just 28 days. Now, if we continue with this low right here, which was the 2022 low, it's the exact same thing. We went from, let's see, about $800 all the way up to like $2,000 in a matter of 56 days, and this was a 130% pump. Of course, if you look at what happened in the first 28 days, it was a 62% pump. So this right here was 94%, and this right here was, as you can see, 62%. However, here that actually took a couple of weeks to get below, and after we got below, we still, stayed in this region for like 3 weeks, and then we had a pump. So I think April is going to be a very good month for Ethereum. We just have to wait to get a close below the oversold territory on the Ethereum chart, and once that happens, that will be game on. And also, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's currently at 64%. It's almost overbought on the weekly, and the last time it was overbought was right here at about 61%, and then after that we just dropped to like 54%, I think. And during this time, some altcoins went up like crazy. For example, Cardano went up like 300%. So I think it's going to be very bullish if we do get to the overbought territory as well. Now keep in mind, Bitcoin dominance is currently reacting to the trend line on the chart, and if we actually get above it, we are most likely going to 66%. And this is another scenario that I've been talking about about for many weeks now, probably even months, so it should not shock you, and honestly, it's going to be okay in the long term no matter what, as long as the Bitcoin actually stays above $69,000. Speaking of Bitcoin, what's happening with Bitcoin is actually not that great, because I think we actually closed a wick below the 44 RSI level on the weekly chart on the RSI, and this is actually not good, because as you can see, in the previous couple of years we found support here, and right now we got below support, so this is extremely bearish, and I can, accept a wick below it, but I do not really want to see Bitcoin stay below there for too long, because if it does, this will most likely turn into a left translated peak, and we do not want to see that right now. So what we need to do is finally get back above the bull market support band and get back above the RSI level of 44 on the weekly chart. Now, if you go on the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, as you can see, we just had a new low, and by the way, this was another thing that I talked about many weeks ago. And well, we did get the 50% extension right here, and maybe this is the low, but then again, we could always drop lower, maybe to $69,000. By the way, if you look at the S&P 500 right now, it's also dropping quite a lot. Of course, it's not dropping as much as Bitcoin. However, it's down a lot. It's down like 30%, and I think we will actually start QE extremely soon, just because the Fed will look at the market and they will think, hey, things are not going too good right now. Maybe it's time to, start QE. And if we actually start QE, that will be the perfect time for Bitcoin dominance to start dropping. As you know from the previous cycle, when we started QE right here, I think in 2021 or so, we had this huge move to the downside, and this is what we are waiting for right now. Of course, I still believe that the altcoin season will happen no matter what. I still think that Bitcoin dominance will drop to about 41% or so in the next couple of months, maybe in the next 12 months or so, and I still think that the altcoins will have their time, and Ethereum will most likely break its all-time highs extremely soon as well, because like I told you, I mean, here for example, we went up 62% in like 28 days, and here we went up like about, I think it was like 80% or 100% in also like 28 days, which means that after we find a low, let's say we find a low at like $1,300 or so, if we go up like, let's say 90% in the next 28 days, that would put us at $2,500. I know that does not sound like a lot, but trust me, it's gonna be a lot, especially for the altcoins, because if Ethereum gets a pump like this, I mean, the last time Ethereum got a pump like this was in November, and as you can see, during this time, let's say from September to about November, well actually December, it went up 89%, and during this time Bitcoin dominance dropped about 7% or so, and Cardano went up like 300%. So if we get something like this extremely soon, it's gonna be bullish, and keep in mind, I'm only expecting something like this to happen in the next like 28 days, which means that after that we could even go higher than that in the next couple of months that follow. Now, I'm still expecting the market to drop in the summer, so we kind of have to hurry up right now, and we have to find a low extremely soon, because if we do not, the market will continue going sideways until the summer, and if Bitcoin, drops during the summer again, like it did in the previous 3 cycles so far, it will not be good for the market, and this could literally turn into a very big left translated peak. And yeah, right now we need to stay above $69,000. Like I said, if we do not stay above that, the last chance to, bounce would be at this high right here. Well, actually this low right here, which is at about $65,000. This is the first wave move of the main third wave. If we do not stay above that, we are most likely in a left translated peak. So please be careful. But right now, things are still extremely bullish in my opinion, especially for Cardano. It has not really gone down as much as the other altcoins. Of course, it's also down a lot, but as you can see, it actually reacted to the support zone that I gave you, and the double bottom scenario, like I said, I mean, I've been talking about it for many weeks now, almost months at this point. So yeah, I mean, things are still looking good, but we're still waiting for some kind of reaction. Now keep in mind, the setup that we had on the chart, this 1, 2, 3, 4 setup has been invalidated. So right now we're going to need to start another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, and yeah, that could take some time, but don't expect that to take too long, because I think the cross on the bull market support band will happen way faster. I think the red line on the bull market support band will start doing something like this because of this drop, and the green line will most likely do this, and then we have a cross, and the last time we had a cross was right here. After that we went up like 300%. You already know the story. And keep in mind, right now we're at the 0.618 support level, and the last time we were at the 0.618 support level was down here when Cardano was at like 27 cents. Everybody was talking crap about it, everybody was saying that it's dead, and what do you know, right now they're not really saying it anymore because their favorite altcoin is also down. For example, Solana just invalidated a very big 1-2 setup, and I think it's gonna drop like $73, maybe even like $38. Now, I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I've been talking about XRP for months now, and I've been talking about this drop for, yeah, months, and what do you know, it dropped from like $3.40 all the way down to like $1.61, and I told you that this will most likely drop below $1 again very, very soon, and we are getting closer to that. So please, when I say something, at least, try understanding my points. I mean, XRP, if you FOMO'd in when it was going up, if you are losing money right now, it's literally your fault. Now, maybe it's gonna get another high at the end of 2025, who knows, but right now the people who bought at like $3 are probably not that happy, so please do not FOMO in. The best time to buy these altcoins is when they are in the support zone, and like I told you, Cardano right now is at the 0.618 support level. Now we could drop to the next extension, which is the 0.786 support level. This is the last support level, and it's at 38.6 cents, and if we do drop to that level, I mean, Ethereum will most likely drop even lower than, $1,429, and it could even drop like $1,300 or so, but we are seeing some type of reaction to the support zone, so we'll see if this holds. If it does not hold, Cardano will most likely drop below the 618, and yeah, I mean, the next support, like I said, is right here. Keep in mind, the whole 1-2 setup, this big 1-2 setup, will only be invalidated if we get below this low right here, which is at like 27.9 cents. So as long as we do not get below this low right here, we should still be fine. And honestly, Cardano is, one of the best looking altcoins, at least right now. And of course, that could be biased because I'm covering it every day, but there is a reason I'm covering it every day. I mean, it's looking very good, and I think we're still gonna get a very big bounce extremely soon, and we're gonna get it because nobody's expecting it anymore. And when everybody starts giving up, that's when I start getting bullish, because that's the perfect time to go up. For example, here it was the perfect time to buy. After that, we went up 300%. Here as well, I mean, when Cardano was at like 22 cents, nobody was buying it. They started buying it when it was going up right here. And the same thing happened in the previous cycle. Nobody bought Cardano when it was here or here or here or here. Of course not. They probably bought in this region or even at the all-time highs. So please do not do this. Please consider buying altcoins when they are in the support zones and not when they are going up. And well, I also have to talk about ADA Bitcoin for a second. Like I said, Bitcoin dominance is at cycle highs right now. However, ADA Bitcoin is not at cycle lows, which is actually very, very bullish. Now, as you can see, we dropped below the 0.786 support level of the, previous all-time high and the bear market low, I believe. And I did tell you that something like this is very likely to happen. And I told you this like, I think 2 months ago at this point. And because we had the exact same thing in the previous cycle, we had a 1-2 setup just like this right here. Then we had a fake out to the bull market support band just like this right here. And then we had another drop, which got us another low. And well, it's not the exact same thing right now, but we also got below the 0.786 support level just like we did right here. So the low could be in, but we need some kind of bounce. And yeah, the ADA Bitcoin chart is doing exactly what it did in the previous cycle. And I told you so. I told you not to FOMO in because at some point ADA will most likely go down. And I told you that when ADA was at like $1.30. So please do not FOMO in. And like I said, please consider buying altcoins when they are at, bear market lows or when they are in the support zone, because at some point they will go up again. It's only a matter of time until it happens. And when it goes up, you don't want to be the person who buys it when it's at like $5 because your favorite YouTuber is saying that, it's going to get to like $50. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Cardano will still top somewhere between $5 to $8 by the end of the year, and we'll see if that happens. And that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.